So, last week we got ourselves a big tease, a blurry tease of course, but it was something that a lot of Marvel fans were clamoring for, like the return of Kingpin. Now, I know this Kingpin, I don't know this Kingpin or this Kingpin. Yeah, it's right, I never cared to watch any Marvel Netflix shows, cause yeah, I haven't exactly heard the best things about them, with Daredevil probably being the exception, but hey, what do I know, and that is not what we'll be talking about today. But yeah, I do need you to know where I'm coming from with this Kingpin character, cause... Hello, fellow Disney Plus watcher, I'm excited to talk about Disney Plus with you today. So, just a fair warning here, I do feel the need to discuss spoilers. If you haven't seen it, Hawkeye episode 6, please come back later. Ready? Okay, I'm gonna do it a little bit differently today. There's two specific things I care to talk about in depth, and there should be timestamps in the description to navigate around it, and I'll end with giving my thoughts on the episode overall. Before anything else, I want to talk about the Kingpin character first. Please, do understand where I'm coming from. I'm sure this character is a layered, well-written character in Daredevil. He's got a lot more story and screen time in that show. I believe you in an instant, no question about that. I do believe Vincent D'Onofrio is liked by many. I know, and you know, I can see the appeal. He is a very Kingpin presence and seems like a good fit. You are gonna hate me for this probably, maybe, but I really dislike this character. What was wrong with this? And it was the thing about this episode that dragged it down the most. I mean, his voice is cartoony, and not in a well-translated comic book kind of way, but in a Saturday morning Looney Tunes kind of way. His acting chops are in general pretty okay, I guess. I guess, but I can't separate his pure performance and his acting abilities as an actor from the completely weird intonation and delivery and the whole presence of him. I feel like the writers of the show just did a gotcha. We tease you with this huge villain that the whole fandom will be talking about, and gotcha! He's actually a complete joke! He's not even a character, he's a cartoon! Wah, wah. Your husband owed me a small fortune. You did pretty well for yourself, but we had a deal. I mean, it brings me back to the cartoons of the 1990s. Like, I wasn't alive yet back then, but like the worst of the worst villains, he feels completely off in the MCU. His character is literally not grounded enough to even feel like a part of the MCU. It's crazy. And I love characters that perform over the top if it's believable and in any way grounded. You know, that costume, it's all just off. When I'm looking at this Kingpin character, I see a performer that doesn't take his role seriously, or that got directions from a director who watched too many 1990s Saturday morning cartoons and somehow thought that this is the way to go here. That's my interpretation, my opinion, my suggestion here. Really, by the way, look at this. It's uncanny how similar this monkey is to Kingpin and the Tracksuit Mafia. It's great.
Ain't happening, punk. Keep their shells, boys, and this time don't fuss about leaving survivors.
Do it, Donnie!
Even the voice, I mean, I don't care if villains get really goofy in concept and are totally going for it. A living planet? Cool. Villains with really goofy ass costumes? Sure. You see, I don't care. I can get all into the weird, fantastical, the unbelievable, but please, freaking own it, dude. I can't take anything seriously around this Kingpin guy. What a complete joke, in my opinion. And he gets blown up in the end, so he doesn't have a future in the MCU, so no chance to redeem him in any way, develop him, no, not doing that. Then we have nothing left to go on. Then the damage is done. I'm sorry, by the way, if you love the character, if you enjoyed him, then that's awesome, I'm happy for you. Now to jump from the worst thing about this episode to, in my opinion, the best thing about it. Yelena. Her character is handled even more beautiful than I could have hoped for. I love how she's been lied to, how she's been used to take out Hawkeye, and how we slowly see her cool off during the conversation between her and Clint. And I love how, even after Clint tells her the truth, she takes it as, so she's dead because you let her. How is that better, she asks. And I got the feels, I got all the feels when Clint did that whistle. You know, I don't know the exact tune, but that whistle that Natasha and Yelena developed since they were kids. And yeah, everybody that is caught up with Marvel and saw Black Widow must have felt something here. I also think it's clever on the writing side of things because it's a pretty tight corner that we're in terms of the script. You know, where all that Clint says will be seen as a lie by Yelena. You're lying this, you're lying that, I don't believe you. Well, then try something else, buddy. She isn't listening. This is what's so great about the MCU. Different different writer teams on different projects, in this case Black Widow and Hawkeye, but still so wonderful narrative connections that, you know, it bears so much meaning. Oh, Yelena saying, "You got so much time with her." That hurt too. I mean, in this roller coaster of emotions, jealousy is also a part of this. I love that it brought that in. And yeah, that's what it was. A whirlwind of emotion in perfect harmony with the movie Black Widow. That movie wasn't just a very late solo movie that should have happened years earlier. No, it's great that it bears meaning now. And I actually think it's kind of good that we got them in the same year, so it's in fresh memory. It's my favorite scene of the episode. This scene was great. But okay, with that out of the way, what are my thoughts on the episode overall? I definitely lean positive. I had a lot of fun, but I'm also a bit mixed on it. The first reason I discussed extensively, Kingpin was a complete bait and switch joke in my opinion. A bummer. But another thing that slightly bugged me was that there seemed to be like one story beat like missing at the beginning of the episode. Let me explain. Yes, we had a clear picture of who was after Clint and why that and this, and Ronin cast a shadow over Tracksuit Mafia coming in, and it was kind of clear going in. But suddenly we learned that there is this Christmas dinner. Maybe I missed that, but I believe there wasn't really a context given here. But okay, cool setup, I'm totally on board, but somehow the episode presented it all in a way that made me feel like I was behind on the story and there was a bit of exposition missing. Like, how do Kate and Clint know they have to be there that evening? I think she was invited by her mom or something, but I think I missed it. And then these LARPer guys are apparently all caught up with the plan, fixed themselves some butler outfits, and are apparently somehow authorized to be serving drinks there. It's not really making sense for me. This isn't a huge flaw, of course not. It didn't ruin the excitement for me, but it was the reason that it took me some time to really get into the episode. And once it got going, it got fun, but I was too busy figuring out what did I miss, you know? And sometimes it's good to be in the dark about something, but I don't believe it was this finale episode's intention to leave me guessing about what I missed. You know what I'm saying? I loved the action. The trick arrow shots, the scene on the ice was just mwah, the next best thing in terms of action after the car chase in episode 3. Like, that one was even better, but this one was cool. I was grinning, there was some humor there, just pure fun. I did feel like some of the humor didn't particularly land, like some of it. Yelena and Kate in the elevator was a bit weird. The casual, "I'm here to kill Barton," worked really well in episode 5, but they go all in here in this episode, and I feel like at the part of the story where the tension is a little thicker, it should have gotten a little more serious here. I mean, this girl is about to kill your good friend and mentor, Kate. Was a little too goofy for my taste. This scene was a little misplaced at this point in the story, to be honest. Oh, and I loved the moments between Kate and that tracksuit guy that in the middle of the fight catches up with her how this date of his went. It's something I didn't know I wanted to have a payoff to, but I dig it. Really like that the coin trick got a comeback, and that in the end the bonding time between Kate and Clint where she learned that little trick actually had narrative purpose. That is nice. So lots of Christmas music touches. I mean, it worked. Like, the music was good, the Christmas setting was in full force, and this was by far not one of my favorite episodes of the season, but I feel like this was the signature episode in terms of tone, in terms of the way the action plays out, the episode that kind of sums up the tone and feel and goes for it. It sums the show up. That is what I like. This is what Hawkeye was all about. This tone, this feel, this setting, this music. But, you know, I'm still really torn on this episode. I'm really mixed. I'm not kidding. Kingpin's a waste. There seems to be some setup missing. The LARP guys as the Christmas party staff was unbelievably silly if you think more than 1 second about it. Some humor felt forced. Specifically, the elevator scene between Yelena and Kate felt out of balance. It wasn't right, but there was a lot of fun to be had, and I like the Ronin send-off and the tease that, yep, Kate is gonna be Hawkeye and Clint is probably retiring. The little hint, the very last spoken line. You know what? I actually have an idea. Like Clint says after all the name suggestions Kate gives him, it seems to indicate that Clint wants her to carry on the name Hawkeye and that he accepts her now, so that was great. Oh, and I think it's great that we got the full Rogers the Musical scene at the end of the credits. We earned that. We deserved that. I'm thinking about wrapping this up. Thank you so much for watching. I'm curious, what did you think of this last episode? Let me know. Be sure to let me know in the comment section. Don't forget, if you like discussing Disney Plus content, make sure to hit that mysterious red button, and if you're interested in my thoughts on previous episodes, you'll find it in the description, or visit the channel. I'll do a ranking of all the 6 episodes that should be out later today. Did you like this video? Then there's a button to express that. Thank you so much. For now, have a wonderful day and see ya.